You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. Crew is in the building live on a new location. Still undisclosed actually. So I want to tell y'all where we at. My man Jay Moore is in the building. How are you, sir?
Doing well, you know.
Liking the new vibes in here, man?
I mean, you know, I've been here for the last couple of weeks.
I have as well.
I mean, you know, it's
a little used to it.
You know, so we're used to it. Just glad to be back to recording. It's good to be missed. You know, when people are saying, "Oh man, did y'all do a show this week?" I'm like, "Ah man, you got to give us a couple weeks. We're gonna get it together." Yeah. So shout out to everybody who's been asking where we've been. And you've been hungry for that good hip hop content, so we're right back at it. So shout out to y'all.
That's what's up, my man Lonegevity. How are you, sir?
Good, man. Just getting acclimated.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot when you make a change, but other than that, everything good your way?
Yeah, just getting acclimated. But yeah, everything's good, man.
Too acclimated,
just,
so
yeah, it's just.
Guess you're getting acclimated.
You know, it is a brand new set, so there's a lot of things that go into this. So there's different lighting and different camera angles and different set and different. We have a whole bunch of new toys as well, kind of.
Definitely.
So we're trying to figure out, you know, a lot of Bluetooth and wireless things going on. So.
And we Bobby Digital now. We're getting digital out here.
We're even live on Twitch, I think, here in a second. So we'll see.
We're gonna figure it out. My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations.
How's everything, man?
Everything's copacetic, man.
New vibes, new seats.
Yeah.
New this, new that.
Triggers ain't working.
It's not working because I'm clicking off something else. That's interesting. Try it. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Which is not. At least we know.
Yeah. A lot of new toys, guys.
This is definitely the first. Toys. Yeah, this is the first run for the new digs, if you will. But it's good to see everybody back. We back in the saddle again. Had a couple weeks off.
Chairs feel nice and comfortable.
Man, they rotate a little bit.
Got a little swivel in it.
Yeah, armrest.
We came up a little bit, huh?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It legit took me a week to put this together. Like
there's a lot,
and it's still not done. But. But
I wish you guys could see. It's definitely different for us. Some of the same older vibes. You can still get the feel for it, but it is definitely more comfortable and we'll say spacious. Yeah, and with the new digs,
I got a little
more room.
I got a little elbow room.
Let's talk adult contemporary hip hop.
Yes, sir.
And the possibility of that. So Ninth Wonder was having a conversation. I believe this was on X. I'm not calling it X. I'm still used to saying Twitter or whatever. But
because what do you call it when you write something on X? When you hit send? What do you call it?
You're deleting it because that's what you exit.
Is it still a tweet or what would you call it? Is it an X?
If you search it on your phone, it still comes up from Twitter.
It's so stupid to call this X. By the way,
well, you know why he did that.
I'm not subscribing to this.
Well,
let's get back to Ninth Wonder. What do you say?
So, and this is all coming from. Pete Rock and this is reaction to Pete Rock and Common's Auditorium Volume 1, Ninth Wonder.
Oh, okay.
So
dope album, by the way. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Very good. So he said this Common and Pete Rock album begs the conversation I've been having with folks for at least 20 years now. Adult contemporary hip hop needs its own category. He says, "Word to Do It All" from Lords of the Underground. We've been said this, homie! Exclamation point, whatever. So after I listened to this project, I would have been a person that would have said, just put everything together. Everybody's, in the same genre. But after listening to this project for these guys at their age and how good it is, I'm not mad at the idea.
Is he talking like a Grammy category?
I think it's more of a...
That's the only way that it would actually make any sense. Because, we all like who we like.
True.
We've all kind of christened or honed into grown man hip hop, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I think we all have our favorites as far as that's concerned. Essentially, that's the same thing as contemporary rap at the end of the day. I don't think there's going to be a radio station that plays only that style of rap.
Nah.
It
would be nice.
It might not be called that, but
it's just not going to happen.
But the actual category, this is the album that would fit perfect based off what he's just calling his title, I think it makes perfect sense after listening to it.
We just heard from Odyssey. Fonte would qualify for that. Jay-Z even would qualify for that.
Do you guys think Jay would be, because of his commercial and success and appeal, do you think he would still be placed in that category just based simply off age?
No, I don't. I think it's based on subject matter.
Okay.
I think it's based on production choices.
Okay.
Look, I remember it was.
How do you feel about just the concept of this? As it relates to Nice?
This is the crazy thing. The station that we, once again, we have no problem saying that we are a podcast that's worldwide, but we're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Right.
And if you know about WTLC, which is the Heritage Urban AC station, adult contemporary, if you will. It was a few years ago when Wale put out a song with Jeremiah, I think that's who it was, on Chill. That song didn't do much on what is considered urban radio, but it found a place on urban AC radio. I think partially subject matter was, more about love and just whatever. But also it had a sample from Raphael Sadiq, Ask of You.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard it, I was like, this doesn't fit on mainstream urban radio, but now it does fit on, here locally, WTLC, and they wound up playing it. Not because of me, but it's just something I thought when I heard the record.
Right.
And I think part of it is there's been a shift in what urban AC is. And there's been a slow move to adopt more hip hop into that particular category, because it still has a little bit of an R&B thing happening to it, just like the Wale song did. And I do remember, it was a song that had the Tupac vocal sample in it from Rhapsody. Off of her. That did get, I don't think it was here locally, but it did get a little love on urban AC radio, and I just think that there is a place, you're not going to be able to play it next to, the Sexy Reds. You're not going to be able to play it next to whoever, that what is urban radio right now is something completely different. Okay.
This wouldn't have a chance.
I'm also using my programmer's brain from, the little bit of time that I did spend working in mainstream radio, thinking, okay, there are certain songs that I hear. If there was somebody who was like-minded, who actually wanted to say, okay, we just can't play the old hip hop songs, because that's what's crazy about what's considered urban AC, adult contemporary music radio now, is at one point they would be like, we're not playing any hip hop. But now I turn on the radio and they're playing California Love because that song is like 30 years old.
Yeah, they'll be playing Biggie.
And the people who you're trying to appeal to as consumers grew up with those records. So now that music is adult contemporary music. And so I think there is a slot where if you say, okay, the people that we're trying to market to, they still enjoy hip hop in an adult contemporary sense, and they like these older songs. Well, you know what? Those songs by some of the artists that they grew up with are still making music. So if you like Common or Light, and that song is more than 20 years old, Common's got new music. So let's put that in the programming, rotation as well. I think it's hard because people who program radio are so behind on so many things, because, shout out to my man B Swift. Like we did a panel together during the last Treese, and he was like, look, man, radio hasn't broken a record in at least 10 years. Because the people who are in the seats, they have to do the safest thing because they're worried about advertisers. So it's going to take somebody, like they tried to do like a throwback hip hop format, the Boom format. They brought that station here, Boom 92.3 or whatever. But I think it wasn't done in the way that they really could have done it.
There was too many of them competing at the same time.
That too, like they tried to run another old school station, and it didn't sound like they had any kind of programming clock. They were just throwing old songs in and thinking, right, okay, this will work. People have that nostalgia, but like there's a way it can be programmed that people need to really sit down and think about. We're like, okay, we're going to play this song from 1995, but at the end of our programming block, before we go into commercial, just like I did when I was in urban AC radio 25, 30 years ago, okay, we're going to play a new song by Rakim. We're going to play the new song by LL Cool J. We're going to play the new song by Pete Rock and Common. There just has to be somebody who has enough gumption and willing to take the risk. But because of the corporate structure of where things are, nobody's going to take that risk. So we're just going to keep streaming, and we're never going to hear this on the radio.
Isn't Rock the Bells, LL kind of geared towards something pretty similar to this?
Or am I wrong? He doesn't see. The thing about it is too, I think where we're at as a society, it's not about the radio anymore.
True.
So what would have to happen is adult contemporary would have to be pretty much playlists that people, you know what I'm saying, compile and put out there, or it would be like something like, I don't know, parties even. You can have adult
like
contemporary party.
We do
I didn't think about I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just don't think that radio is going to do it because
it's too much reach involved.
I don't think most people don't just listen to the radio. Now, it would work on something like XM because you could just gear a channel for all of that type of music on XM.
I feel like that probably already exists.
It probably does.
I think that's what Rock the Bells is. But I don't subscribe, so I don't know.
I don't think it's going to exist over your regular FM airways because the programming
is so limited.
I mean, it does matter though. In a sense,
think so.
The radio doesn't matter for this particular thing because it's 2025.
That's what I mean.
Or 2024.
What do you? So you said it doesn't matter?
No.
I think he hit on the point. He hit on a great point about the playlist.
I don't think playlists matter really either.
I see. I disagree because I think in today's times there are a lot of popular playlists that break music.
Here's my problem with the framing of that. It's like the assumption that these playlists don't already exist. They exist. People make them. We have our own version of playlisting that's not necessarily adult contemporary, but includes what we are considering adult contemporary.
Okay.
There's plenty of these out there. Playlists. I don't think they're as important as people say they are. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let me ask you this then, real quick.
I think the only framing of this that even makes sense is for like the Grammy board.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that I think it makes sense.
Let me ask you this though, as we go back to the playlist conversation, do these playlists exist? Perhaps because there's so many playlists out there, right?
I think
but is there a playlist with artists of this era solely based off new music that doesn't dabble into the old and new?
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
It does because your algorithm will find this for you.
Okay.
If you start listening to this type of music, it would automatically build that for you.
Yeah.
But that's the whole Grammy thing is more so where I'm leaning towards is actually being recognized for what you're doing.
I think that's where
because
it's important.
Killer Mike won in the hip hop category, but I mean his album essentially is adult contemporary hip hop.
Yeah,
it could easily be placed in that. That's true. That's true.
I think the difference is a certain demographic of people don't want to hear this subject matter, and a certain demographic does want to hear it, and that just shows the evolution of hip hop. There are people that grew up with hip hop their whole life, and their taste in hip hop has changed over time.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear all that all the time, every time, and honestly, like I always revert back to on Barbershop when he was like, I don't want to hear hip hop before 10 a.m. in the morning.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You almost or rap. You have to almost be in a certain mind state to hear certain type of music.
Yeah.
So if you have a different category where it's not the young cats upset because Killer Mike won rap album of the year because they don't know who he is ignorantly, then you have a whole separate category. But wouldn't it make sense to kind of marry the two? For if we're talking about hip hop overall, so you have a adult contemporary one, and you have a popular hip hop, so to speak. But then you still have to have a hip hop album of the year.
The collective, yeah, for sure.
But then it gives people the excuse, like if it was this past year, it's like, okay, we'll give Killer Mike adult contemporary rap album of the year when. It's instead of, and then we'll give.
He actually had the best rap album.
And then we'll give Young School Shooter album of the year because that lines up more with the advertising demographic.
For sure. And with all this being said, I agree with what Ninth is saying here, but I feel like we've had these conversations for a very long time. We just haven't called it adult contemporary hip hop. These conversations about, man, there almost needs to be another genre for this or another category for this. This is not a new conversation. I agree with them. I think maybe we're finally in a space to where if that was introduced, then maybe it would be received well. Yeah, outside of that, like we're still talking about, even though I think the Grammys and those type of nominations is the only thing I think that makes this super relevant and cool. If radio stations pop up doing this, I think that's cool.
Right.
But we're still talking about the Grammys, and so I still don't really care.
But also, it's also another argument. Who determines what's adult contemporary hip hop? You know, are you just doing it because these people are above the age of 40 or 45? Are you doing it because...
Is it conscious music?
Yeah, you're doing it because the subject matter isn't about, you know, just shaking ass and riding on rims?
Yes.
Like,
what if Two Live Crew dropped a new song, but they're older? Are they adult contemporary now?
Well, yeah. Well, what if Luke puts out, you know, an ass-shaking anthem? It was like, well, this is adult contemporary hip-hop because Luke is 50.
He'll put out a line dance now. It'll be a Luke line dance, and the subject matter will be a little different.
I see what y'all saying, though.
But they do that with R&B because it's like best traditional R&B performance. Yeah. You know, what if they say best traditional, and what makes it traditional is because it's 3 verses and someone determines this is the rhyme structure and there's a hook and a bridge.
Had a rap like Melly Mel.
Yeah. Somebody has to go and then
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, the music just moves different now. Just like Killer Mike didn't have anything to play it on the radio. And I honestly don't know anybody that didn't listen to that album. Even people that aren't really Killer Mike fans. That album was so
got some really good songs
magnetizing that you almost couldn't avoid listening to it.
And it was an album just based off conversations that I've had to his point. There was no age, there was no grouping. I heard people that were 20 say it was cold. I heard people older than us say it was cold.
You also heard people 20 saying, who is Killer Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just depends on what people like and what people want to listen to.
Absolutely.
You know, being a fan of music and the musicality and all the cool things that Killer Mike is doing is not really an age thing necessarily. It's more so just kind of a taste thing, I think. So would Bun B now qualify as a... Would it depend on his
contemporary? Would it depend on the sound? Or does it depend on the song structure?
I'd put Bun in contemporary.
I think I would, but
I would.
Anybody?
Would you put
Scarface? I would put Scarface in there.
I haven't heard anything from them Franchise Boys since...
Lone, that's going to be tough.
06, 07?
What type of adults are listening to them Franchise Boys?
Well...
Why you say it like that?
Well, when they get here to town,
you gonna see a bunch of people with
you gonna see some 6X
t-shirts.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Okay,
but I put Face and Bun and Cube, people like that.
I mean, essentially, it's the Essence Fest. It's the Cincinnati Jazz Fest,
hip hop version.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because when you go to these shows, you're actually grouping these rap artists with contemporary R&B artists. Like I've been to a show that had The Roots and Frankie Beverly at the same show.
This is true.
So I mean, it's almost like for those that aren't hip, you're giving them something that you think they will rock to, and they might leave that concert a fan and start listening to this said artist. I mean, I don't know. It just kind of fits. It's almost like you can't really call it. There's just a sound that you know that you like, that you hone in on. And you have to realize that your ears have changed and you now are a contemporary hip hop listener.
Just got to accept it.
Got to accept it. Yeah.
I'm not mad at the concept. This is a very good record if you haven't listened to it. I know that sparked the conversation from his standpoint.
I actually haven't ran that mug yet.
Yeah.
I haven't either. I've heard two of the records, but I liked them.
The Common and
Pete Rock.
Yeah, I think it's great. I like it. I mean, like I listened to it. Gave it a run last night along with the Eminem. Would Eminem be adult contemporary hip hop?
Actually, so on my way here, listening to the Eminem record, he actually would qualify for it.
Oh, yes.
You know why?
Because he's hearkening back to so many things he's already done.
Exactly. There's stuff that he's talking about that nobody young is going to understand. Like, who is Christopher Reeves? These people, they don't know who Christopher Reeves is.
Yeah.
Something about a horse is all I know.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man? Shout out to Knight for bringing up the conversation. Like you said, Lone's just worded differently. That has a proper title. I get it.
And then honestly, there are artists who came out and were young and already were automatically bestowed on adult contemporary hip hop just from their pure subject matter.
I mean, because Rhapsody's, I mean, she not old.
Nah.
Think
about Mos Def.
Yeah.
With Mos Def.
But then it was just called underground hip hop.
Just called underground hip hop. But if you reclassify that, Mos Def's subject matter at that time could be considered adult contemporary hip hop.
I think that's the interesting thing about the conversation is like, I think it just depends on how it is defined, because I feel like young artists could technically be in this category as well.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So I would just want to To me, it's like not even adult contemporary. It's just like music and that you're making that we can tell that you care when you're making music.
There you go. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah.
It'll actually might make more people give a what they're putting out.
Yeah.
Because if they know I don't have to compete with any Mighty Mo and the Bebop Boys,
Yeah.
I can put out this type of music and be considered amongst my peers, so to speak, that I actually rock with.
Yeah.
Yo, two things. One, anybody want the Bebop Boys is hilarious. Two, Lone, I could definitely see that playlist saying, these people really care playlist.
Maybe that would actually, nobody steal my idea. Maybe I'll, no, we've already got the turn off your radio. That's not going anywhere. So
These people really care, volume 1. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
if you, hey, we want that check too, because that's a Bringing Down the Band exclusive. All right, man. That's fun.
I'm waiting for the B-boy band, Bebop Boys to come to town. I'm gonna go down there.
Let me find. Give me a second here.
Less than 700 subscribers away from that 1K.
Talk to him, Long.
100K.
We already got a place for the plaque.
Saying we.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm
man.
getting a plaque.
I don't care what he say.
You know, we could get plaques made.
Yeah, I don't care what he say.
I
think that's what it is. It's like, hey, now you've hit this. You want to buy something?
Hey, look, I'll disclaimer before I act a fool. I'm like, look, my boys built this from the ground up. I went away and I came back, but I'm about to be an asshole because this is 100,000.
Terry definitely gets a plaque.
100%. Yeah. I'll just take a small plaque. You can give me one, like we like a boy, like you get at Boy Scouts or something. I get a small one. Yeah. You can give me a plaque like this big, bro. I'll take that. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Junior member. That's all right. Yeah, I want a replica, but I'm still gonna talk crazy.
We have not a New Old Heads necessary playlist, but Terry and I we ran this blog for many years called Bringing Down the Band, which you can kind of see on a shirt maybe.
Yep.
For a very long time, and we blogged for a long time. We had over 12,000 blog posts, but turned it into a YouTube channel, which I pretty much manage now. But we started a playlist called Turn Off Your Radio back in 2012, I think.
11, 12.
And we actually, the first events, actually, the posters hanging on the wall over there, where we had Mike Spitz and Slot A and Papi Amon and Vest 120 Down and stuff. But I've kept that playlist up since then. It started with like hip hop and like some kind of like vibey music, but it just turned off to Turn Off Your Radio, and it's the playlist is on YouTube, so you can definitely find it on there.
No, for sure.
So it's like youtube.com/Bringing Down the Band, or you can go to bringingdowntheband.com, and the playlists are on there as well.
Plenty of heat in that playlist.
Or you can join our Discord, because all of that stuff gets populated in our Discord as well, so you can see what drops.
This is true.
I like how he said he liked to check it out. He missed having a place for people who care.
Yeah, I know. That's actually a really great name for.
Yeah.
You might need to
trademark it.
Yeah, you better hurry up and get that done, man.
People that care music.
.com. Jay brought up old Marshall Mathers. Let's talk Marshall. I got a question for you all, because Eminem's coming off his most recent album, Death of Slim Shady, which I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would, based off my normal Eminem listening experience. But I posed a question in our topics, and it relates to Eminem. Can we make the case for him being the most polarizing MC? And here's why. This dude always comes out. I posted it on, made a post the other day where it had #1 iTunes, #1 Apple Music, #1 YouTube, #1 whatever. Projections 400,000 first week. We know what comes with Eminem. But there was a comment that Jamel Hill made. Now, she's from Detroit. And this was in relation to someone asking her about Eminem and how people in Detroit look at Eminem. So she says, if you're not from Detroit, which I am, you won't get this. People from Detroit have a lot of love and respect for Eminem, but there's a disconnect. Most of y'all outside of Detroit wouldn't understand. The majority of the folks from Detroit aren't going to say Eminem, and that's in relation to who's the best rapper in Detroit. So that's why I always think he has a case, because he's like the biggest conundrum. He sells all these records, but there's always a polar opposite view on him every time he puts something out.
All right, let me put it like this.
I want to pick that apart real quick.
Okay.
I don't know.
Picking it apart too.
Because just because there are people that are big in this city of Indianapolis that the people here would not say is the best rapper as well.
Okay. No, I follow you. Yeah, I got you.
being one of those people.
No, for sure.
For sure. That's all I wanted to say.
But he seems to always give you one of those. It's either this or it's either this. and it's always aggressive, the responses to him.
Yeah, I think.
But you have to realize something.
You see what I'm saying?
Detroit is one city in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
One city, which is the bigger percentage of Detroit is black. From
Okay.
my understanding, right?
Yes.
Got family in Detroit.
Right.
That's
okay.
fair.
So, Skilla Baby actually had a similar conversation
Okay.
about who is the best in Detroit. He said that we all hold that title for a time, and somebody else comes through the ranks and holds the title. And this is only in Detroit, though.
Okay.
So imagine you growing up with Eminem from your city. There's something to aspire to be. I want to be as big as Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to be Eminem. When you have people all across America that identify with Eminem, because he's white, because that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
he's
it is.
white and he can really rap.
That's the
Very
biggest.
well.
Rap his ass off. So
Mm-hmm.
regardless of these are people that probably have never listened to Black Thought. So they have no idea that Black Thought can also rap his ass off.
But to Mike's point, though, Black Thought isn't polarizing like Eminem.
He's
That's
not.
the part.
That's not what I was saying as far as that's concerned. It's just his particular stratosphere or his status quo of a fan is not that enamored in hip hop
It's
culture,
not
so to
rooted
speak.
in hip hop. Yeah,
It's not rooted in hip hop.
That's just true. That's just facts.
Yeah, they're not rooted in hip hop. So Eminem can sneeze, fart, and punch a midget,
Yeah.
literally
Little person.
on a record,
Brilliant.
and they love it.
Just don't call them hobbits. They don't like that.
Yeah, they love it. Unless it's Willie Baggins, y'all forget about Willie Baggins. Black Hobbit.
That sound like so he from Detroit.
No, he probably is.
That's well played.
Yeah.
That is
But
well played.
Man, where Willie Baggins at? He got my $5.
There's actually
42 Doug's
videos.
cousin.
There's actually videos.
Just that long.
Wow. Shout out to Detroit. Not 42 Doug's cousin. Now Eminem is bigger than Detroit at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
he's way bigger.
And he is definitely a polarizing artist.
Yeah.
When it comes to the most polarizing artist, I mean, that's
Does he have
debatable.
a case? That's what I'm
debatable.
asking. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know who else I could put in that spot, though.
That
Snoop?
makes you.
Because you don't know him.
My thing is this
Snoop
person.
is known
Oh,
worldwide.
you talking about Detroit?
Other than Detroit.
We talking about period.
Like
Jay-Z.
Nah,
No.
I don't. Nah,
You don't think so?
Nah.
Yeah, I think so.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, okay, I will say this
No.
about Jay-Z. A lot of people down south don't rock with Jay-Z.
A lot of people out west don't F with Jay-Z.
Yeah,
But it's not as aggressive every time he drops something like it is with Eminem.
No, because every time Jay-Z drops
demands
something,
his space. It's a difference between demanding his space and somebody that naturally can just do whatever they do and is going to make a ripple regardless of what he do. Jay-Z puts money and investing time and research and all of that stuff into what he does. He's literally a business. He's telling you, I'm a businessman. It's more than just dropping his music. Eminem can literally go away for 10 years and drop music and is going to do the same exact thing on the chart every single time. So as far as being polarized, I don't think anybody can mess with him as far as that's concerned.
I think he could be polarizing, but I just think Eminem's the standard when it comes to it.
When comes to what we're talking about,
Yeah.
I just
'Cause
can't think anybody else.
I mean,
bro.
Jay-Z's definitely has that polarizing effect.
Yeah.
But Eminem is on a different level.
The way he consistently moves the needle, no matter what he does.
Yeah, it doesn't
that's the
matter.
part I'm talking about.
Yeah,
because Snoop, I look at Snoop as an OG, as a legend.
I don't think he's polarizing.
But I don't think
He's
I don't
just
think
a
he
worldwide recognizable.
100%. But I don't think he
America's number
moves
one pitch man.
for sure.
Yeah, but polarizing is the key word.
He don't
here.
move the needle like Eminem, though. To me, he just doesn't.
I don't think there's anybody
I
that's
think
as polarizing.
I
as
think
him.
with his music, because Eminem, honestly, other than when he did 8 Mile, he doesn't do anything else. I think I've seen him endorse like Brisk Iced Tea, like maybe 10, 15 years ago. Other than that, he doesn't. You don't see Eminem or hear from him unless he's got an album coming out. Snoop, on the other hand, he puts out so much music, and I like it.
Sketches, Mark Stu-
But at the same
everything.
time, like music is like the 5th or 6th thing that Snoop is known for, depending on how old you are and where you're from.
I wouldn't consider Snoop polarizing at all.
I just think Snoop is just a whole legend. When I see him, I see legendary hip
Why
hop
are we
artists
talking
that I
about
grew.
Snoop? I guess I'm confused.
Yeah.
No, we just
I brought up Snoop.
as a comparison.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and the only reason I brought up Jay-Z is because, like, as far as polarizing is because, even people who claim they hate Jay-Z, they got to listen to his album so they can pick it apart. And I'm not.
I think the same argument can be made from Eminem. I saw people that couldn't wait to listen to it to hate on
Same
it.
thing can be said for Kanye.
Kanye's up there.
Now Kanye makes more sense than Snoop or even Hove to me. Yeah. Kanye would be somebody that you could look at and say he's going to make somebody feel a certain way, no matter what he does.
Yeah, I think Kanye and Eminem are probably the top two.
I would put Kanye up there, close to Eminem.
Like now, I don't even care to check out Kanye's music.
I don't either. He just dropped a record with Consequence.
Yeah. Oh, word?
It actually sounded pretty decent, but I missed
that.
Single, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I missed that.
But Consequences is the only person who still likes him.
Wow.
All his other friends are like, no, we good. No.
I think Kanye and Eminem probably. Yeah, but to your point, I completely have checked out with Kanye.
So. There are millions and millions of people that have not.
Oh, for sure.
That are definitely still waiting on him to do and everything.
The same can be said about M, because I mean, if you watch your social media posts or whatnot, it's people asking, is it okay to listen to Eminem record? Is it okay for me to, you know what I'm saying? Am I going to get anything out of this, or am I wasting my time?
True.
I listen to it because we're because of the show. Other than that, I mean, I don't, like I said, but with Kanye, I don't care enough.
I see you, Lo.
I don't care enough to talk about his music anymore. Eminem, like I just, first of all, I looked at the production credits and I saw that he produced most of it, and that's where I was like, well, I'm not.
That usually is a turn. That usually turns me away. I ain't gonna hold you. That usually turns me away, but
do you like this funky beat?
Stop, man. Stop. Don't do that, man. I hate when you do it with the head bob. Stop that, man.
Yeah, that's how it sounds.
And then I was like, all right.
There's nothing funky about it.
And then I was like, well, all right, well, let me see. Okay, Dr. Dre had his hands on a couple things here, but there were Dr. Dre beats that he would do for Eminem, which means no.
First of all, Eminem
feature is crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did like that.
A lot of people have said, though, with Eminem, he is very stingy with production, mixing, mastering, and all that type of stuff. Maybe he has to record it 80% of the time. He has to make the beat.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be.
Oh no!
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, every time an Eminem record comes out,
it's like I feel like he needs an executive producer that's not Dr. Dre and not him. And I know Denon Porter has a part of it and stuff. You know, and he's got his people around him, but like.
Even had a Bizarre feature on there.
I'm not even the thing.
I ain't mad at that though, because that's his homie from day one.
The thing about Eminem is like I know. Let me just get this out there because I know that he doesn't make music that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I knew that this new album was not going to be something that I enjoy. Right. But I have heard pieces of it where I was like, Eminem is doing his thing on that. Mm-hmm. We mentioned before the show about the Diddy line that he had in there. That was fire. That was a fire line.
Fire.
And it's a conceptual album.
Yes.
And I can appreciate all of that about the art. But when it comes to just strict listenability, enjoyability, just like back when we did our MC rankings, he's almost like a 1 or a 2 for me. And I can't get into his music, and it's just what it is.
Probably had 2 or 3 10s on other stuff because of his ability.
Easy.
Yeah, but music wise, like I did listen to a couple of the songs. I'm just like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
It's like a time capsule,
you know, and it just wasn't very, you know, wasn't appealing. It didn't drive me in enough to be like, man, I really need to listen to this.
I think Terry and I, if we were to do 2 sides, may have enjoyed it more.
That's what you guys said.
Yeah, because I
didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it like I thought I would. But
I'll go back and give it a listen, or you know, maybe I will. Just for the sake of it, but
I'm not gonna cap and say I went into this optimistic, like, oh man, this is gonna be. I went into it like, okay, here we go with Eminem again, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I feel like I'm gonna have to go into it listening to it with like a clause. You know?
what's the clause?
It's just like I know that this is not music that I'm going to listen to, but it's going to be an interesting piece of artwork that's going to. I know this is a weird thing to say, but I feel like it's probably more art than music to me.
Let me give it a shot.
Yeah, let me just see you know, in that aspect of it. And maybe it's good in that aspect, but from what I've heard so far musically, I'm not impressed.
Not impressed. All right.
It's an M album at the end of the day.
It's definitely an M album. Now, don't get it twisted. We ain't about to lie to you, but I mean, just held my attention a little bit longer than I thought.
Huh?
No, it's not fun.
Look, I just remember when I was listening to it, like I can't say remember it was Guilty Conscious 2.
Yeah.
Or there's another, I think
Guilty Conscious 2 is hard.
Yeah,
so it is.
Like that's a song I actually liked. I mean, but I really liked the original Guilty Conscience.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
But it's like basically like I think it's maybe track 12 or 13, and basically the character of Slim Shady is unalived, But then the album keeps going on. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. If
Marshall comes in, right?
If maybe
It
that's
is
where
it is a concept record.
Maybe that's what I
glimpses
missed.
of both of them on there.
Yeah.
So he said, he came out and said intentionally, like I've seen all the lead up to it. He said if you don't listen to it in order, it's not going to make as much sense. And I think what I saw
exactly
what I saw in part of the video, it's part of it was that like it's Slim Shady up and then Marshall is afterwards. I'm not that deep into the Marshall Mathers lore that I understand what all this stuff is.
And the Marshall Mathers LP was actually the best album, though, in my personal opinion.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I liked his first one, and then after that, it was like just kind of hit and miss in general. The second one was okay. Which one was the second one?
The second one had
that was the Marshall Mathers.
Okay, that was pretty good too.
That's the house on the cover, ain't it? Yeah, that album was fire.
It's been so long I don't remember, but like
he had some heat on there.
I don't know. Whatever.
But no, you know what to expect from Eminem album, so you know
I'm not mad at it. I've just always wanted him to be like funky and stuff. I just
talk about funk.
I do, man. Like he's
Stop saying funky, man. You know Eminem is not about to be funky, man. Stop saying that.
I need Eminem to be funky, man.
No,
he's from Detroit.
He is, but you're not about to hear no Jay Dilla bounce on Eminem.
I would love for him to drop it.
But I know we're not going to hear that. Black Milk's not going to produce on it, bro.
There should be a Slum Village feature.
I'd love that, but it's not going to happen.
Like, that would change my entire, and I know who cares about my opinion, but I don't really care about it. But like, that's what would it would make me interested.
That would have you interested?
If it was like a funky album, if it was produced by Black Milk and I don't know.
Denon Porter.
I like Denon Porter.
I'm a fan of Denon Porter, but
I fool with Denon Porter.
But Denon Porter would give Eminem beats, and that's what the problem would be.
And Denon Porter is so talented that he can cater to artists, and I feel like he would cater to it. He would do too much.
I see.
And I don't want that. I want like
Denon Porter.
I just want to take him out of the equation because he already works with him. I want I want the funk.
No.
Who wants the funk? We want it.
No, I would love to hear. Get the people that your heroes worked with. Get Eric Sermon on the line.
I don't need Eric Sermon either. I just want the funk.
How could you say you want the funk and not want Eric Sermon? That don't even make sense.
I'm not sure that Eric Sermon is going to give me the modern day sound.
Look, I'm saying that because
I'm not sold.
Don't do that.
And I'm an Eric Sermon fan.
I know you are,
but that's not what I'm talking about.
The rhymes they spit on that Nas were fire, but he didn't produce that.
I want modern Pete Rock. I want New Age with Common Pete Rock.
Okay.
I want Black Milk. I want Knots. I
like Knots.
I want Crisis.
I take Crisis.
I want that sound. Or we can go like West Coast Exile or something like that. That's what I want for an Eminem project. Maybe even Alchemist if he can sprinkle some drums.
Alchemist would be really good.
If he can add some drums in there, I'd be okay with it. But like that's what I want for an Eminem project. That's what would make me excited.
He'd have your full attention.
I would be excited about that. I would be curious. I would listen to his bizarre raps
over those beats.
Yes.
I can look, and
I just need the funk, man.
And I said, Eric Sermon, just because, hey, I know how much Eminem loves Redman.
Yes.
Or maybe, even get KG because I know how much he loves Stretch from One Eye by Nature. You never know what their updated kit would be like.
No disrespect to KG though, because
I need it to be very, very specific. Let me curate it.
No legacy artist.
I will do it for free.
And that's a good way to say that. The only reason I say no legacy artist is because when you put those people together like that, you're expecting something.
Exactly. That's the point.
So when they miss, it's kind of like you're like that meme where you're taking the headphones off. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to be disappointed.
I don't want to be disappointed on that level because I haven't heard anything new from KG. I haven't heard anything new from Eric Sermon. And I would rather just keep it that way.
Exactly.
Until they come out with something on their own.
I got confidence in Eric Sermon though, man.
I need me to curate it or somebody like me.
Can you just do me a favor with your
Maybe I'll just remix his album.
Could do that.
It'll get blocked everywhere, so I can't do that. But
I mean, but whoever gets it and rips it first will have a jewel until they pull it down again.
And I say this all jokingly, but I'm serious. Like I've been saying this for a while. Like I can appreciate his artistry. I just don't like his music.
I think we've all agreed, and we've talked about this at some point as we've talked about him, that he's in the stratosphere where he could do everything Lone is saying from a curating standpoint, and it's still gonna ring off sales wise. I think to me
M can do whatever he wants
Teflon
to do.
at this point when it comes to that.
It just goes with what we're talking about, being a polarizing MC.
Yes.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. I mean, the world is his oyster at this point. He can make whatever he wants to make, and people are going to eat it up as long as he keeps rapping like Eminem.
Yep.
I just, at this point, it would be nice to hear him take a risk. I think that's what we're all saying. For him
Go against the grain.
for him to do an Eminem record, but it doesn't have to be an Eminem record. He doesn't have to jump out the window with the first goofy ass single, and then.
And by the way, that was not produced by Alchemist. That was produced by Eminem. Houdini was produced by Eminem. It was not Alchemist. I know that's been going around.
Sounded nothing like.
But that's not Alchemist. We verified that on the show a few weeks ago.
That's I guess that's what I'm always disappointed in, is that Eminem does a paint by numbers Eminem record. And I wish I could hear him rhyme over beats that are as good as his level of rapping.
Yeah, me too.
And the beats he produces just aren't that.
Yep.
Sorry, it is what it is. This is my critical response.
He just has the right kits.
Yeah, but at the same time, because the thing is, like you said, if he did jump out the window and do this experimental boom bap record or whatever.
It'd make my day if he did that.
It's not even it would make our day, but people would listen to it regardless. It's almost like, like when you have this much money, this much success already, this many accolades, you could do whatever you want. It's kind of like, look, but he doesn't care. I don't think he cares really about record sales and plaques and having all that. He's done all that 100 times over.
Yeah, his paperwork is right.
Yeah. And so, it's almost like, I know we don't talk about this, but it's like, whenever, you see women who make a lot of money always complaining they can't find a man.
Oh.
And it's like, you have the option, unlike most other women, you could actually just date for love. Yeah. Eminem could just rhyme for love. He doesn't have to rhyme.
That's why
for
he's frustrating. That's why it's frustrating to me, because I used to be a huge fan of him. And I still am a fan of I think he's super talented, and that's undeniable. But
that's the one. That's
his
my
rhyme schemes are crazy.
That's the one takeaway I have from diving into this project.
It's like something just doesn't come together when it's.
He is an elite. Like we say this all the time, but every time we say something about Eminem, there's always comments. He is an elite.
Yeah, because they missed the whole MC. Point that we actually give him his P's.
Yeah, he is an elite, all-time elite MC, man.
He actually said on the album, "You don't want it with him. You might want to try to go against Kendrick Lamar." Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but I understood. I remember that was on one of the first part of the album where he talks about
first half.
Yeah, where he's talking about, and people, and this is also the thing. People try to jump out the window and make it seem like he was dissing Kendrick. It was like,
no, not that line.
Not that bar. That was a different one.
He had another bar on there where he's talking about, if you were trying to battle somebody, you're better off going at Kendrick,
where he showed
Lamar,
suggesting that he's better than, even though Kendrick destroyed Drake.
Literally, he destroyed him.
Yeah, but I would destroy.
I would destroy you even further, essentially. Yeah. So
I wouldn't play with him. I'd leave him alone.
I mean, we don't really do that. We do go at Eminem every time he puts out an album.
Yeah, leave Marshall.
I mean, it's hip hop, so we talk about it.
Yeah,
this is facts.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com.
We are back, the New Old Heads podcast. Shouts to our partners.
Let's talk LL and his comments on 3 Stacks and his Flute album. Did you guys see that?
Yes, I did.
I didn't see the comments. I watched most of the LL interview.
Did you see?
Are you talking about the one with Charlemagne?
Yeah.
It was these comments were on the shop with LeBron. I put 2 reference links in our Discord.
Oh, Andre's comments.
But these are actually LL. One of them is LL talking about when Andre 3000 said he doesn't have anything to talk about, the subject matter. He's responding to that, saying that he's shorting himself. Like there's more stuff that he could actually rap about. Yeah, he really went in. Though I was surprised that Hardy went in respectfully in terms of his response to the Flute album.
People can't keep making music because they ain't interested in none. They think they know every goddamn thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then they start like all that woe is me. Well, when you was 14, you wasn't rapping about, you know, the pubescent growth spurts. So why you have to get older and talk about prostate? Like, there are other things to talk about besides your doctor's appointment, bro. Like, I love you. Like, what the are you talking about? Like, I love him. That's my man. He's super talented. Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah. Like, you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of the great. I'm talking about Andre's one of the greatest rappers ever. Like, I think he's amazing, but I disagree with that. Like, with all due respect, and I ain't, you know, I disagree with that because I think that he has it in him.
Like, I feel like if it's in you, because I still got homies my age and older than me that still rap. So I'm like, if it's in you, you should rap until you die. You should perform until you die. Like, if it's in you. But what I'm saying is what it takes for me to do it. I'm always looking for the next. I'm not trying.
I'm gonna pause whatever's going on there.
I don't remember what that is.
You didn't vet the clip, man. We got other music videos popping up in the clip. Yeah.
Real trap.
Trapaholics mixtape. Yeah, T-Vix.
Damn, shorty, where'd you get this?
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't remember seeing that. But
yeah.
I respect what LL is saying, but at the same time, he hasn't dropped an album in a long time. And I feel like since he's honed in on his sound here lately, he's kind of feeling himself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't talked about anything in a long time.
Kind of came off like that, didn't it?
Yeah. It's like you've been rapping the whole time and you haven't.
Right.
Where Andre is pretty much saying he's in a space right now to where rhyming isn't what suits him. It might come back later, but as of right now, that's just not him. And you can't really be mad at that.
Andre said, though, he looks at it from a standpoint of if I can't be innovative and I can't be new when I pop out, that is something that deters him from trying to do something else. He said, I don't want to regurgitate, and I'm paraphrasing, but do stuff that I've done over again and try to repurpose it. Like, I want to be fresh and have something that stands out if I'm going to put out a new product. But he wasn't dissing LL. He just was saying that's why I don't want to do it, because I don't feel like I can be fresh enough or different or push myself or challenge myself. So I kind of feel what Terry's saying, because LL, since he got an album coming out, he's like, well, I can do it. How come you can't do it? Everybody's mentality is different.
Well, I think also, and kind of when I hear that clip and then the feeling himself, I do think that is part of it, because LL in the interview with Charlemagne, which is excellent, by the way, you should check it out if you are a fan of LL like I am, even though he blocked me. He said, look, I was working with Dre. And I did he said I got like 30 joints with Dre, but what I was doing lyrically wasn't up to the production I was getting from Dr. Dre. Yeah. I had to go back and learn to rap again and find what would be good enough to really put out in the world. And essentially, he didn't want to embarrass himself.
Yeah, he said that on the Charlemagne interview.
Exactly. And so that's I think, fair. Now that he's found where he is comfortable, I think once again it comes back to feeling himself a little bit, and this is why he took me off his Twitter. It's like, yo, you really do think that everybody else is at that same place, and good for you. But everybody else ain't got the time, the energy, or the money and the space to try to do that.
So it's fair to say that if LL had been rapping consistently for the past 5 or 6, 7 years, this would land a little bit different.
It's not only that. I mean, but, because I can't be mad at him, because that TV money has got to be fantastic.
Oh, I'm not counting his pockets. I feel you.
No, I mean,
Andre's got that TV money too from around the same time, though.
Yeah, TV and
movie money.
He rapped.
Movie money.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, movie money.
Movie money, but
but you're right though.
LL got that
LL on network TV, and he stayed with the syndication on the Ion network, which is a different kind of bag if you compared to the average 45, 50-year-old rapper. And so you have, like I said, you have the space to say, I'm going to do records with Dr. Dre. These aren't good enough, and so let me try something else and get over here with Q-Tip. Most people would just have, if you're in that space, you'd be like, all right, well, we got to figure out a way to make this stuff that I did with Dr. Dre work. LL Cool J is one of the few that has the space, the time, and the comfortable enough lifestyle to where I'm not going to say that the stuff he did with Dre was wasted time, but there's still some people who need to rap like the Rennas do. Now, LL, he's 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned with his new records. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, okay, this is really going to be a renaissance for him, especially considering what he means to, being a first act on Def Jam, being like someone who broke through on MTV and has been broke through into multimedia. Like he was doing movies back in the day. I remember he did a movie called The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and James Woods, and I was like, I didn't care nothing about that movie, but LL was in it, so I was like, okay. And I think this would be a great look for hip hop, adult contemporary hip. What do you want to call it? Just hip hop in general. But like I said, he has a lot more room to fail compared to a lot of other people.
Your average MC.
And as good as like Andre's money probably is, and plus he's a dude who's probably got a lot of flash. But like he don't need it like a lot of other people do. So
you see him I don't think he need to rap.
You see him walking around in thrift store clothes.
It's because he's comfortable. He's comfortable with who he is right now.
Yeah,
I'm cool off anybody putting music out just for the sake of putting music out. If you ain't feeling it, I don't really want to hear it because I'm going to know that you didn't feel that.
Yeah,
everybody has those people care about.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like
I want the artists to care. That's the problem. A lot of artists don't care.
Lasers album. We as fans know he was not feeling that.
That was Atlantic Records.
The first time I listened to that album, I was excited to hear it, and afterwards I was like, "Man, what the hell was
this
that?"
Ain't Lupe is what I said.
It ain't Lupe.
This ain't Lupe.
And you could tell that he was not feeling that.
Samurai is Lupe.
If any artist is to a point where they're just putting out music to get out of contracts or they're not there, whatever, I'll take the one or two singles that actually meant something, and that's it. I'm cool on the whole release from you if you ain't feeling it. That's just where I'm at.
I respect that.
How long ago was this LL interview? Do you know? When
the shop interview is recent. That's probably, that one just aired on the shop's YouTube probably last week and a half ago.
I think that's a little bit older because the most recent one is the
Sexy
one
Red
with
and
Sexy Red, and
that one just came out.
Yeah.
Okay, let me look.
The reason why I asked this is because I feel like we have beat this topic to death about Andre and whether he wants to do this or not, and I feel like he has clarified himself a few times, and I feel like enough talking points been out to where. How many different ways does Andre have to say that it's just not in him right now before people just shut the up?
Leave that man alone.
Like, let him be who he is.
I noticed you said he missed it when you were watching the the response. Yeah.
Andre has said over and over again, like, this is just not where I'm at.
Right.
Where I'm at is improvising flutes. Music and
he's
doing that stuff.
He's touring with that flute.
He's doing it. Like that's where he is. True. That's where he's at.
Yeah.
And so let him be. Let him be. Leave one of the greatest of all time. Let him, we often have conversations about how sometimes artists go too far and they taint their legacy and all this other stuff. Do I think Andre would ever do that? No. But just let him be in control.
Do him.
Let him be in control of himself. Why
I mean, damn.
Like, come on. it's Andre
annoying.
3000.
It's almost annoying at this point.
It is. It's like it's Andre, man.
It's like everybody has this opinion on what he should be doing. We had our opinion.
We did.
But at the end of the day, the consensus was we respected what he decided he wanted to do.
This is true.
Everybody wanted an Outkast or Andre solo album, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It didn't happen. Okay, let's move on. Things that he said as far as how he's not there mentally or don't want to do it, leave it at that. You're really going to make him not want to do it.
For sure.
I mean, like, because now
you're bringing it up.
Now you're putting this super high expectation, and he's already self-conscious about the stuff that he raps about.
Yeah.
And fortunately for Dre, he doesn't know this, but even when he's not trying, it's still better than 90% of the stuff that's out.
He's yes.
And to LL's credit, he did say he's one of the greatest ever. I mean, later on.
Yeah. That on that particular, that kind of, I don't know. Like I just watched snippet. I just watched the Charlemagne and LL interview, and I thought it was a great.
Switch it.
Oh, my bad. I mean, still learning over here, right? But no, like I really liked that interview. I thought that was a great interview. And I liked the way that LL approached a lot of the questions and everything like that.
Yeah.
But this one just, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like he's a grown man, and he has stated how he felt over and over. Like, why are we still picking apart one of the greatest of all time? Let him live.
LL sounded like, he sounded like we talk about it. We've mentioned sometimes as consumers we can be selfish or want certain things. That's
like
how he came off as a consumer. That's just.
He sounds like he asking for a feature and he said no.
I don't know about that, but
Would you say, Terry? Is something else going on?
It sounds like he asking for a feature. He said no, and of course I'm just speculating. I'm pretty sure that's not true. But I'm just saying, let that man do what he want to do, man. If he want to walk around with overalls on, with pinstripes and glasses, and plays the flute barefoot, that's what he's.
No, you
got
got to put on some shoes, doggy.
Well, I mean, he hangs out with Rick Rubin, so they like to not wear shoes.
As long as he's washing
What I had to learn to understand was no matter if he's walking around with a flute and overalls, it takes away from nothing.
Andre 3000 owes me nothing.
He doesn't owe me a thing. Doesn't owe me a thing.
For everything he's done on features, everything that they've given out, like. Would I love another Outkast album? Sure, but you know what? Like I said, they left it all out there for me. I can go back to those old albums. I don't feel like I've been cheated in any way as a fan.
Not at all.
Yeah,
that's fair.
There's no cliffhangers.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Lone saying, just let him.
I mean, it's one thing. Like, again, I'm just gonna say this and stop. But it's one thing if like this was a fresh conversation, but this has been lingering for years, and I feel like he's again and again and again kind of clarified himself.
Has to keep doing it over and over again.
And like for LL to step in like this right when he's dropping an album, I feel like he felt kind of weird because he was like he has something to prove.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, nah, man. Like it's easy to read through. I didn't like it. That's why I was curious how old it was.
Yeah, and I think to your point, the 3 Stacks and Sexy Red is the most recent. Maybe the LL was one of the ones just prior to that. I'd have to go back and look on YouTube, but.
Yeah.
What's funny is Dre will hop on a Sexy Red song and absolutely slaughter it.
Yeah,
and he's done that on plenty of. I guess
Walk It Out by Unk. Like, come on now. Like,
on.
I did not see that.
I forgot about Unk.
May 9th.
May 9th. Oh, it was May 9th. Oh, May 9th. Okay.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man. LL, just do you, man. Hope you have a good album.
Yeah, because like I said, he's 2 for 2 at this point. So
I haven't heard the second joint yet.
Second joint, I'm like, okay, yeah, LL means what he said when he's talking about he's locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious because when we talk about legacy artists, I don't have the high expectations.
Optimism. Yeah.
I like to be pleasantly surprised. Rather than to
be disappointed.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
we talked to.
But Andre's one of those people that I don't even consider him a legacy artist because I know for a fact that if he drops something, it would be super fire. Like I don't even put him in that category.
I can't argue with that.
You know what I mean? Like
I can't argue.
He doesn't
with that.
have a lame feature.
His percentage is too high.
He's never lost a step. He's always been relevant. It's just different.
Yeah, I mean when he he had the verse on Killer Mike's, it was like he never went anywhere.
Yeah,
and then he had a song. It was at this point several years ago with
a Grammy for that.
The Rick Ross,
True.
the 16 that Jake won, shot to Jake won. Yeah, hey, I'm sorry.
What was he on? Was it Frank Ocean?
Yeah, Passion.
Frank Ocean. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
he
right.
Don't miss.
You don't
leave that man alone.
He's one of those.
It'd be different if he threw a brick up against the wall.
Yeah, he hasn't.
But he hasn't. So leave him alone.
Like ever.
He's batting 100.
Like can anybody name like a bad Andre song?
You can't.
I don't think he's definitely not on no feature. He had missed. Out. Yeah.
He's like almost the.
Even that song they did for the Scooby-Doo soundtrack.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, man. Like
Drake don't miss.
Let that man live, man.
He's Drake, and you still see people talking like, oh, I don't know, man. He's in a group. He can't be in the conversation. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. We're still having this conversation. But anyway,
did you not listen? You might want to go back.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to 3 Stacks, man.
I'm off my soapbox.
So. Well, no, that's cool, man. Shout out to 3 Stacks for being here, man. Keep doing you, bro. Let's see. Why much time we got?
Check out my instrumental project, Lone Love Andre.
Talk to him. Phenomenal project. Yeah. My boy flipped a lot of that.
Every song on the flute.
Yep. And turned it into his own creation. So salute Lone on that.
I think that's about it, man.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we're 11
coming up.
Are you going to get yourself a Bronny jersey?
Why would you?
He's gonna say Braun on one side, and then the back's gonna be Bronny.
I mean, did you?
Are you gonna get a half and half?
Look,
like the Peyton Manning.
Did you watch some
ones
Summer League games?
I've watched him.
Yeah, he ain't been doing jack shit.
He's been all right.
Nah. And look,
if he said he wanted to go back to USC, they'd be like, nah, we good.
Here's my thing, man.
He's a project.
He's definitely a project. Here's my thing.
He's shot a few air balls.
Yeah. If Bronny was a number 3 overall pick, I'd be like, LeBron, you out your mind. We know better.
Yeah.
Him being a 55th pick
in the second round.
I think he should be looked at as such. But I know what comes with the James name and all that type of stuff.
That's where I feel.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, yeah, he's trash. He's the 55th pick. Nobody said he was about to be Shaq coming out of college, right? But with that being said, the one thing that I don't think LeBron took into consideration is how fast the backlash was going to escalate. Like, granted, Bronny has been LeBron's son obviously his whole life, so I think he's accustomed to that part. But it's times 100 now. Like, the boy can't even walk through the hotel without people getting comments, and it's on podcasts and people are talking about this.
Though.
But I don't think LeBron took into consideration what the kid was going to go through in order for him to see his dream of playing with his son.
That was his decision to
as a parent, that's his decision. You're right.
No, not as a parent, as
Bronny.
A kid, as Bronny.
Bronny could have stayed in college.
Had the opportunity to stay in college if he wanted to.
And probably had a much better time, like being Bronny in college.
If it's me,
would have been a much better time than being G League Bronny.
What I'm saying is, one, if it's me,
he needed the money.
I would have told him to stay if it's me. But when I say LeBron as a parent, I'm thinking I don't think he took into consideration what his son would go through in order for him to see his dream come through of playing with his son. That's what I mean.
Well, because like I
don't think he took
people
that
try
part
to compare it to like Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr.
Not the same.
Because first of all, Ken Griffey Jr. at 19 was him.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason the Mariners picked up his dad at that point was like, hey, maybe if we do this, we could get this guy who's going to be world changing.
And it worked.
Yeah, and that's what happened. But the thing is, like, what is lost in all this, do you know Dwayne Wade's son got drafted as well?
I think he plays overseas, right?
No, he got drafted to the Utah Jazz's G League team.
Oh, he did.
And what a lot of people forget is that Dwayne Wade has ownership in the Utah Jazz.
He got drafted this past draft?
A couple years ago.
No, into the G League.
Into the G League. The Utah Jazz.
They used a G League pick on
Zaire Wade is
on his son. Like I said, they talk about the nepotism and everything. Okay, if you're going to do that, let's do that. Let's not put your son in the middle of the biggest.
Detroit.
Yeah.
It was like the owner's kid or something.
I'm not mad at any of it, because if you, as a parent, if you are in a position to put your child in a position to win, so be it.
But he's not in a position to win.
That's the only part.
But
who is it about,
if
though?
You think
this is how we get cars made with 3 wheels.
Yeah. So if you think, okay, this is the thing. If you just think, okay, because first of all, I know how this, because the NBA and all this stuff, it's a TV show also. And so they're going to have Bronny be on the active roster in game 1 of 82, and he's going to get out there and he'll throw a pass to his dad and they'll turn it into a Nike commercial.
He's going right back to the G League.
And they'll be like, all right, look, we're not going to win. First of all, when I see all this, I'm like, okay, well, does LeBron just not care about winning a championship? Because you need somebody.
At this point,
somebody that's going to help you now.
Yeah,
you need a 50 whatever second round pick that's going to play.
He needs Steph.
Yeah,
him and Steph need to team up. Look, but that's not going to happen.
At the end of the day, man, Bronny is going to be in the G League. He's going to have to develop. But Jay Moore's TV show our argument is very valid. It's about the commercial. It's about the opportunity. That's going to happen before he goes down or whatever. But as for LeBron putting his son on, hey,
I'm not mad at that.
Put your son in position.
I'm
Just
not
be mindful of what comes with that.
I just, I know it will make for a cool moment, but I'm like, son, you need to stay in college.
Nobody cared about the 55th pick last year. I don't even know what that is. So a lot of this is not about Bronny. This is about, we hate your dad, so we're going to use you.
It's not even about.
It's a lot. To me, a lot of it is about LeBron.
For me, it's not. I'm saying for me, I'm like, if I'd have, because the thing is, the 55th pick or whatever pick the Lakers have in the second round, that's going to be there for next year when your son has actually built up some film on him. We can make it make sense.
That piece
might make sense, yeah.
Because right now, after looking at him play at USC and seeing how he was out there dogging it in G League, it doesn't make sense.
Well, the good thing about this movie is, in the circus, we're going to find out. He's going to either get exposed or he's going to make the adjustments.
He's been exposed because he's too early
to do 100% exposure.
He's not even competing against people who may not make the team. Other people who may not make the team.
When he gets to the G League, we shall see.
Okay.
That's our sports talk for today. Skip Bayless is done too.
I laughed out loud when I saw that. Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
We need more white people in media.
Not enough, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Is there anything else I left out? Y'all want to?
He needs another Howard Cosell.
I don't think so.
We covered it all.
Hey, join our Patreon.
That part.
Join the Patreon. Yeah, that's the big
do
thing.
that,
Just become a
please.
free member. If you're still in the chat here on Twitch, shouts to everybody that's in there. If you're a new
Yes.
chatter, or if you see this on TikTok, don't know how that works after the fact. But yeah, even if you become a free member, do that, because it allows us to reach you directly and all that good stuff. And then who knows, maybe down the line you'll want to become a
paid member.
A full paid member. But yeah, do that. Go to patreon.com/newoldheads. Join as a free member. Give us your email address. Pop out when we show up. When you're in the city, maybe we can link or something, or maybe you can join the Discord and we can have conversations and keep the conversation going.
Get be a part of the page. Just to tell us if
Be
we're
a
wrong.
part of what we do.
Yeah, just
Please be our friends.
be a part of the Patreon just so you can tell if we're wrong.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, that's
it'll be
real.
worth it.
All right, man. NewOldHeads.com for all the education you need this year. Remember, if you see it, like it, subscribe. We've already talked about Patreon. Hit the bell for notifications, and also give us a 5-star rating on anything, because if not, at this point we look at it as y'all hating. So don't be a hater. Show us some love, because we need it. That helps us out a lot. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Yeah.
Goodbye.